Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're the kind of person who loves to learn efficiently and get straight to the good stuff, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today's video is all about demystifying something that's growing incredibly fast, the Cloud AI ecosystem. Cloud has evolved so rapidly from just a simple little box you type text into, completely transforming into this massive ecosystem of products, features, and ways to automate your daily workflows. But let's be real for a second. The more powerful a tool gets, the more exhausting it can be to figure out how to actually use it all, right? So today, we're going to break down this entire ecosystem into a highly digestible 4-layer mental model. By the end of this video, you'll know every product, every feature, and exactly when to use which one. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our visual roadmap for today, the 4-layer framework. We'll start at the foundation, layer 1, the core products. Then we move up to layer 2, customizations. We'll explore layer 3, context and memory. And finally, we'll reach the really futuristic stuff right at the top. Layer 4, autonomous operations. 4 layers. By the end, you'll know exactly where every single feature lives. So let's start at the bottom. Layer 1, the core products. Now, the first thing to know is that everything here runs under a single paid subscription. So even if you've only ever used one of them, you already have access to the whole set. But even though they share one subscription, these tools do very different jobs. And that brings us to what I call the rule of 4. Chat to think, Cowork to delegate, code to build, and a fourth, newer product, design to create. One simple verb each, so you always know which tool to reach for. Quick note on where they live. Chat is everywhere. Start on your phone, finish on your laptop. Cowork and this is the actual app, not a mock-up. See the tabs down the side. Chat, Cowork, and Code, one window, one login. It's also where projects, your scheduled tasks, and customize all live. Everything in this video is right here. Code run on your computer's desktop, where they treat a specific folder as their workspace, and design lives right in your browser. Let's look closer at chat versus Cowork, because this is where Claude stops being just a chatbot. Chat is a conversation, you're in the loop, going back and forth. You reach for it when the work is the thinking, like pasting in 3 competitor pricing pages and working out where yours should sit. But Cowork, that's where Claude goes and does things for you. Picture that messy, cluttered desktop. We've all been there, right? You hand that whole sorting job to Cowork, walk away, and come back to clean, organized folders, or hand it a folder of 200 receipts and get back one tidy expense spreadsheet. Cowork is basically Claude with a to-do list. Then we have code and design, which completely redefine what it means to build or create today. So here's chat in real life. For this demo, I played a total beginner. I told it straight up, I don't know anything about AI. How do I even keep my data safe? But here's the thing, Claude already knows me. So watch how it answers. It doesn't fire back a generic checklist. It meets me right where I said I was, and ranks the real risks for someone like me. That's the magic of chat with memory, a real conversation with something that already knows you. With code, you genuinely don't need to know a single programming language. You just talk to it in plain English. A total beginner can sit back, sip their coffee, describe an internal dashboard, and have a working tool by lunch. Or ask for a quick script that renames and sorts every photo from last week's shoot. And design is just as powerful. Feed it a prompt, a Figma file, or your own brand assets, and it generates slide decks, one-pagers, even working prototypes. Drop in your logo and brand colors and get a 10-slide pitch deck that's already on brand. And once you've got a design you love, you hand it straight to code to actually ship it. It's wild. So that's layer 1, 4 products, 4 jobs, 1 subscription. Now here's code, actually building. I just describe what I want in plain English. No syntax, no setup. And it plans out the steps, then writes the real code behind them. This is the jump from Claude answering you to Claude building the thing for you. A total beginner really can describe a tool and watch it come together. Now let's move up to layer 2. Customizations. The core products are powerful on their own, but this layer is about plugging Claude into your actual real-world job, taking it out of a vacuum and putting it to work. The first way we do that is with skills. Think of a skill as an expertise package. Under the hood, it's really just a folder of instructions and guidelines that Claude reads before it starts a task. For example, Claude has a built-in PowerPoint skill, so because it reads those instructions first, you get a clean, perfectly editable slide deck on the very first try without ever explaining how you want it formatted, and you can package up your own workflows into custom skills too. Build a brand voice skill once, and every email Claude writes sounds like you, not like AI. Set it up once, and it does it that way every single time. Next up, connectors. Think of these as the bridges between Claude and the software you already live in: Gmail, Slack, Google Drive. You sign into your accounts, and that securely links Claude to your tools, so it can pull data or take action right inside those apps. So you could ask, what did the client say about Friday's deadline? And Claude reads the thread, gives you the answer, and even drafts the reply. And I can't stress this enough, you are always in control. You decide exactly what Claude can and can't touch through one simple secure permissions list. And finally, in this layer, plugins. The easiest way to think about a plugin is a ready-made bundle of the two things we just covered: skills and connectors, wrapped around a specific role or industry. For instance, a Figma plugin that bridges Claude and your design workflow, or, say, a legal team could bundle contract drafting skills with their research connectors into one legal plugin. Basically, if you've got a repetitive workflow in your industry, there's probably a plugin for it. So that's layer 2. This is where Claude stops being generic and starts knowing your world. This is the customize area: skills, connectors, and plugins all ready to browse. Skills are expertise packages, connectors plug Claude into the tools you already use, and plugins bundle them together for a whole role. Look how many are built in already. You just find what you need and switch it on. And whatever you set up works the same across chat and code. Which takes us up to layer 3, context and memory. Now here's what I love about this layer. It solves the single most annoying thing about AI: constantly repeating yourself, starting every chat from scratch. This layer makes Claude actually remember who you are and how you work. At the heart of it are projects. A project takes a really simple idea, a folder for your chats, and turns it into a persistent brain for your work. Inside you load custom instructions, your specific tone of voice, and you upload files, your brand guidelines, last month's campaign results. So you open your Scent Nation project, and Claude already knows your products, your tone, your numbers. You never re-explain a thing, and that context refreshes automatically every time you open it. You never start from scratch again. Now, memory itself works a little differently depending on where you are. Account memory applies to your general chat. It quietly learns your preferences, your life, your business over time, and applies that across your whole account. So it just knows you run a candle business in Australia, and it stops asking. Meanwhile, for code and Cowork, there's something called a Claude.md file. Think of it as a sticky note you leave for Claude inside a project. Always use British spelling, never touch the pricing file. It's an auto-updating brief that lives right in your desktop folder, and it keeps Claude consistent on that specific project. So that's layer 3, Claude finally remembers. And that brings us to the very top, the pinnacle. Layer 4. And this is how Claude actually remembers you. Right here, you tell it who you are and how you want it to work. Even your own rules, like never invent a source. Set it once, and it carries that context into everything you do. 4. Autonomous operations. This is the shift from AI as an assistant to AI as an independent operator. Features that genuinely run on their own. Let's take these one at a time, because this is where it gets wild. First, computer use. This is Claude literally taking control of your desktop, moving your mouse, opening your browser, filling out forms. Imagine it logging into your supplier portal and downloading every invoice into a folder while you just sit back and watch it happen. Second, dispatch. This one turns your phone into a remote control. Picture this: you're on the train and you message Claude. Pull last week's sales and draft Monday's report. It spins up a session on your desktop back home and gets to work. By the time you sit down at your desk, it's already done. Third, scheduled tasks. This lets you put Cowork on a timer. Here's my favorite example: the automated morning brief. You set it up once on a schedule. So while you're still pouring your coffee, Claude is already scanning your inbox, checking your calendar, and pulling the numbers from your connected tools. By the time you sit down for your first meeting, a full synthesized summary is just waiting for you, and you didn't lift a finger. And finally, routines. This is the one for the builders. Routines completely untether Claude from your hardware. You save a setup, your prompts, your connectors, and set it to fire automatically on a schedule, on a GitHub event, or on an API call. So every time a customer files a bug on GitHub, a routine can spin up Claude code to reproduce it and draft a fix, even at 3 in the morning, even with your laptop shut. It just runs, completely on its own. So that's layer 4. This is Claude working for you while you're not even there. And that, everyone, brings us to the complete picture. And this is where it gets a little wild. Claude running on its own. Here's a scheduled task every morning. It checks my calendar, scans my email, pulls from my connected tools, and has a full brief waiting before I even sit down. I didn't touch a thing. And with Dispatch, I can kick one off or check in right from my phone. This is the real shift. Claude stops waiting for you to prompt it and just gets to work. Picture. What started as a simple chat box is now a single unified ecosystem. You've got the core products to think, delegate, build, and create, the customization layer to connect your tools, the context layer to remember your world, and the autonomous layer to run it all on its own. Honestly, it's an incredible time to be a focused learner in this space. So I'll leave you with one question. Look at your own week, your own to-do list. Which layer would save you the most time? And if you do just one thing after this video, go set up a single scheduled task this week. Just start there. Tell me in the comments which layer is your favorite and what's the first thing you'll automate. And if this gave you even one, oh, I didn't know Claude could do that moment, hit like. It helps more than you'd think, and subscribe. I break down a new AI workflow every week. But don't just watch, go do, pick one layer, set up one thing this week. That's how it sticks.